Hey, Reverend Rebecca, thank you for joining us again today. I'm looking forward to today's topic because it is one of those things that it's often like there's this not to mix metaphors, but there's this secret that wasn't told to us, and this is why this isn't working. So tell us about what we're going to talk about today.
Well, first of all, we're going to talk about universal law. And universal law happens to be law of attraction. Just like the law of gravity or the law of creation, all of these laws are always running. But we're not guiding them in the right way. You know, when we first heard about the secret and the law of attraction, we thought we could just cut some pictures out, stick them on a board, and we were set. Guess what? There has to be more action than cutting a picture out. And as a Science of Mind minister, I know what that action is. That action is affirmative prayer. And we call that prayer spiritual mind treatment. And in the past 2 episodes, we've talked about this in detail. And I know that you've all listened to those and you've all been practicing. So your lives are changing in great ways. So today we're going to talk about how to bring those methods, those steps into the law of attraction in creating what you really want in your life, because thoughts become things.
You know, when it comes to a spiritual mind treatment, it's so different than what people would think about when it comes to prayer. Can you just for those people that this is the first time they've joined us, give us an overview of, hey, what is a spiritual mind treatment? What are the pieces of it? And why this missing key, if you will, to why law of attraction hasn't worked and this will make it work.
Yes, I would be happy to do that. So first of all, it's really simple. We're just going to sit down and we're going to be quiet. And while we do that, we're going to think about what's true for us. For me, what's true is there's one source of good in the universe, and that source is God. And so that's really important when you can find your one truth. That's your first step. And the second step is to become part of that truth. I know that there is a spark of God within me. So God and I are one. And you know you're part of the truth for you. The next step is very simple. It's declaration and recognition. And what I'm recognizing is what I want. I'm sitting in a place of truth, one with God, knowing what I want. And in that place, I'm going to declare it to the universe. I'm going to say, this is what I want. And I know that it's my birthright, and it's here for me. It doesn't go to anybody else. There isn't only so much. I know with 100% certainty, it's mine. And from that moment, I'm grateful, I'm thankful, and that's the next step. And so I give great thanks and gratitude for knowing this, for having the ability to put these steps into my life. And from that point, I surrender. I surrender and allow this universal power that is creating every moment of every day, consciously or subconsciously, always creating for me, as me. And I surrender, let it go, and I know with complete certainty it's mine and it's coming to me. And I simply say, and so it is, amen.
You know, Reverend Rebecca, and I want to drive this point home by saying, whenever we make an order on Amazon, as you were doing this, I'm thinking, those are exactly the same steps that I go through on Amazon. Hey, I know Amazon has my product. If I order it, I'm one with the product because I've got it on my, and it just goes through the same step. And then this is the part that's always gotten me, is like, act as if, right? But then I thought, wait a second, when I put that order in, I give my credit card and they confirm that it's been done, I go off and I know it's going to be here in a few days. I don't wonder, gosh, I wonder if it's going to be there. I don't spend any time wondering about it. I know, as silly as that sounds, it seems to have a similarity to it, doesn't it?
Yes, it's the knowing. It's the knowing that you placed your order and it's there for you and it's on its way to you. And then you just let it go and you let Amazon, or we talked about in the last episode, we place our order with the waitress and we don't think, well, I hope they can make this. I hope they have the food for this in the back. I hope we're really going to get it. We give it to the waitress, we talk to our friends, we read our book, we go on, and we know it's coming. And it's coming to the level of our belief. If what we read on that menu was exactly what we wanted and we ordered it, that's what we're getting.
You know, I want to ask you to peel that back a little bit further, because, you know, the topic of today is the missing keys to laws of attraction. And I think this is where sometimes people maybe got lost of saying, hey, I'm just going to close my eyes, I'm going to imagine the Ferrari in the driveway, and then I go out there and the Ferrari's not there. It's still my 1997 Honda Accord with the rusty spots on the side and the cracked windshield. What happened? And I'm wondering if this whole process of, okay, we've done the spiritual mind treatment, but isn't it treat and
move your feet?
Oh,
move your feet.
Gotcha.
And the action, the moving your feet piece, is this prayer. Affirmative prayer is action. You are declaring to the universe what you want. And the reason that you still have that 1978 whatever in the driveway is because that's what you believe is yours. So we need to know that thoughts become things. And sometimes we have programs running that have nothing to do with us. They're things taught to us by people who loved us. But it was their truth. And that's why we start with our truth. We know what we want. And if we believe it is ours, it is. You see, the law of attraction works with vibration. And it doesn't care what vibration you're putting out. That's what it brings you. It brings you whatever the strongest vibration is at that time. And for us to receive the Ferrari, the Mercedes, the whatever, we have to be vibrating. Ferrari, not 1978, whatever. So that's where the problem comes in. We have to do the action. We have to do the affirmative prayer. We have to know it is so. We have to believe it, and we have to be willing to receive it. That's also a piece of the work, Jeff. We have to be willing to receive it and allow it to come to us.
Well, you know, when you talk about this, I just keep thinking of like, wait a second. I know that thoughts become form. I've always been that type of person. I like to reverse engineer things and say, wait a second, well, this cause and effect. I love cause and effect. And I know our science of mind is purely cause and effect. So I look at it and say, well, wait a second, what is the cause of that effect of having that older car, not the Ferrari in the driveway? It's really a function of our thoughts. And it sounds to me like you're saying, but wait a second, to actually get to the root of the cause of those thoughts is spiritual mind treatment.
It is.
Oh, I got you. So that is that first action.
It's the action.
Okay.
It's the action. And then believing that you are worthy, that you can have it, that it is yours. Somewhere in the back of your mind, that 78 Toyota is still playing. And what you have to know is that's not your truth. That's not who you are. That's not what you are. You are an aspect of the Creator, and you can have anything. You came in with a belief system that allowed you to have anything. And unfortunately, mass consciousness came into play, and it changed your mind. And it said, you only can have this, and you can only have that, and our kind of people only get this. And none of that was true. And it was given to you out of love. But the truth is, you are a spark of the divine. And you are able, willing, and worthy to have anything that your vibration is putting out. And that's what you need to pay attention to. Do you believe it or not?
Reverend Rebecca, when you say, hey, we can have anything we want, I mean, you've worked with enough people, and I journal every day. And I remember when I first started journaling, you know, one of the things that I remember hearing is, we all play at too small of a game.
Yes.
Like, okay, well, if I could just have enough money to get to the end of the month, and then you get there and you're like, well, that's not really what I wanted.
But that's what you asked for.
But that's what you asked for, right? And how do we overcome that? Is it almost like a muscle that says, wait a second, I don't want to sound like I'm greedy, but greed is different than abundance. So it says, I want to have more. I want to have this and more. And
Yes.
how do we start asking for more and playing bigger?
Well, I recommend that you always say this or something better. This or something better. And we're grateful for what we have. If we're always grateful for what we have, we're in a different vibration than when we're always talking about what we don't have. Okay? I always tell people, just take a simple piece of paper and put on one side of the paper whatever it is that wouldn't it be nice if it showed up? And then on a regular basis, sit down and look at that paper and say, wow, this is here, this is here, this is here. And what you're doing is you're telling yourself, I'm a powerful manifester. I have put out to the law of attraction that I wanted these things, and I let my vibration bring them right to me. Now it doesn't matter if that's a can of Coke or a mountain retreat. You asked for it, you believed you could have it, you knew you were worthy, you did a prayer, and here it is.
Do you think it's sometimes, Reverend Rebecca, we hear this word manifest and the law of attraction, and they are examples of these grandeur examples. And I hear you say, hey, it could be a cover for my iPhone, right? And is it like a muscle that, hey, it might be better to start out with something that said, hey, now I'm starting to gain proof and gain momentum and realizing I can ask for more? Like maybe a fly swatter is an example because there's a fly up here today. I don't know.
If that's your belief, then that's where you're at. And that's how you should start. However, the universe doesn't care. It simply gives you what you vibrate at. So if you're vibrating at what you don't want, it will show up. If you're vibrating at what you do want, it will show up. And as you do these affirmative prayers, your vibration shifts and changes. And it raises. And things start getting better in many areas of your life. And maybe they weren't specifically what you asked for, but life is easier. Those crooked places on the path are straighter. Life is more fun. There's more harmony. There's more ease and grace. And I'm pretty sure we're all willing to live with that.
I want to kind of wrap this up today, but I want to ask you another question on this process because I didn't hear you say in the affirmative prayer to start writing out all the how. Well, I'm going to work this many more hours and I'm going to do this kind of stuff and this. I didn't hear you say any of that the hows. You just asked for it. You just affirmed it and then act as if. Is there a process where we say, now I got to figure out how to do this?
No, the how isn't ours. That isn't our deal. Gravity works every single day in every single second. We don't know how. We don't need to know how. We just know it works. Electricity works every single day in every single second. And if it doesn't, we're pretty upset about it. But we don't know how. We all use cell phones, right? Do we know exactly how they work? Nope, but we know they do. And so I ask you to bring affirmative prayer into your life so that it can be the missing key for you as you are bringing your law of attraction into alignment with what you really want. And believe it's yours.
Hey, I want to share this because I want to make sure everybody is crystal clear. And maybe it's just because I'm from West Texas. I just want to clarify this. I want to make sure everybody understands that they have to be open and receptive to this. And it reminds me of a joke where there was a gentleman and it was a flood and the rains were coming, and before it got bad, the fire department came by and said, hey, we need to evacuate. He says, no. He says, I have faith. I'm going to stay here. God will provide. And then he had to move to the second floor, and then the fire department came, only they were in a boat this time. He says, no, I'll be fine. God will provide. And then he eventually was on the roof, and a helicopter came by with a ladder and said, get on, we're here to save you. No, no, God will provide. Well, then he woke up and he was at the pearly gates. He says, well, God, you didn't provide. He says, I sent a fireman in a car, in a boat, and a helicopter, and you didn't take advantage of that. Those were clues. How do we have to be more open? Because we don't know what the hows are. And oftentimes it comes from places where we weren't even expecting that. What advice would you give us to say, okay, I've set that prayer in motion, I'm ready to take action, and I have to be open and receptive when somebody comes and says, hey, would you like to go to Idlewild today? And you're like, no, I don't want to go to Idlewild. But come to find out, that was somebody in a boat saying, let's go to Idlewild because your ideal connection up there was existing. How do we get into that mindset? Or is it just saying, hey, you have to be open and receptive?
Well, I think in that moment you just stop and you say, how does this feel? Is this the something better? Is this what I have been sent to lead me on my path? And it's very simple. We become very used to telling the universe, I asked for a blue door and I got a red door. But maybe the red door was the vibration we were putting out and we didn't know it. It shows up to the level of our belief. It's really important that you are willing to go with the level of your belief. And if it's not a red door that you wanted, then you need to put out the blue vibration so you get the blue door. Because it always works. It's universal law. And we have to know for ourselves, does this feel right? Is this the right thing for me? This is what I'm putting out. So I will take it, but I'm going to keep working on getting the blue door.
I love it. Well, it feels like now I have a very clear understanding of what that missing key was or is to the law of attraction. Because I'll be honest with you, I've done the what do you call it, the vision board, and I put the pictures up there. I'm like, what a load of garbage. I'm sorry, I'll keep it clean. What a load of garbage, because it didn't happen. And I've been one of those people, I write goals down, I have most of my life, and a lot of times I've done that, but the pictures didn't work for me for some reason. But when I started doing spiritual mind treatments, it did make a difference, and I'm glad you clarified that this morning, even better than I knew before. Any last thoughts before we sign off for today about this whole, the missing key to spiritual mind treatment?
There's got to be action. And with that action, it has to be declaration for you from your place. That not only do I see it, but I feel it and I'm working toward it. And I know with 100% certainty that there is a power greater than me and it's bringing me to it.
It's fantastic. Well, do us a favor and tell us a little bit about, hey, what happens here on Sundays, how people can find out about us, if you're comfortable with that.
Sure.
Okay.
On Sunday, we're here at one service at 10 o'clock right now during summer, and in the fall will be 9 and 11. And it's a wonderful place to come in and feel a part of a community, to sit with like-minded people and be uplifted by beautiful music and a strong message. And we'd love to see you. And if you can't join us in person, there's always live stream.
And that's at cslpalmdesert.org. Just go there and you'll see the button to live stream, and that would be fantastic. We'd love to have you. So, Reverend Rebecca, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I hope we see you next time on
Spirituality Uncorked. Thank you, Jeff.
Have a great week. Thank you.